Imagine you're applying for a new job.
Okay.
You've gone through all the interviews, you've completely proven your worth, and now it's time for the hardest part, right? Negotiating your salary.
Oh, the worst part.
Exactly. Only you aren't the one doing the negotiating.
Wait, really?
Yeah. You're just sitting on your couch, drinking coffee, while your personal AI agent, like a piece of software you trained on your specific financial goals, is actively haggling with the hiring company's HR AI agent.
Just trading counteroffers in the background?
Right. Debating stock options, analyzing market compensation data all in milliseconds, and completely without your direct input.
That sounds like pure science fiction. I mean, straight out of a novel.
It really does.
Mm.
But based on the massive stack of tech intelligence we have today, we are quite literally months away from that becoming just mundane reality.
It's moving so incredibly fast.
It is. So welcome to the second edition of the AI Core Deep Dive. Our mission today is to take this mountain of recent developments from the tech sector in 2026 and, well, pull out the structural shifts that are about to completely rewrite your relationship with your devices. We're going to look at how the tech giants are changing how you interact with everything, how your privacy is being redefined, and how AI is leaping out of the chat box and into the physical world. Okay. Let's unpack this.
We really need to, because the shift we're observing right now is fundamental. For the last few years, the public's understanding of AI has basically been anchored to what we call conversational AI.
Right? Large language models.
Exactly. You type a prompt into a text box, the system predicts the most logical sequence of words, and it spits out text.
It's totally reactive.
Perfectly said. It's reactive. It requires a human to initiate the action, and then a human has to actually execute whatever advice the AI generates.
But that's changing now.
Drastically. What your sources reveal today is this aggressive industry-wide transition toward agentic and ambient AI.
Agentic and ambient.
Yes. We are moving from large language models to large action models. These are systems designed not just to converse with you, but to execute multi-step processes autonomously.
Large action models. So instead of, summarizing a recipe for you, the system just accesses your grocery app, checks your bank balance, orders the ingredients, and schedules the delivery based on when it knows you'll be home.
It completely takes the agency out of your hands.
That is wild. And if we really want to understand how this ambient AI is going to integrate into the daily rhythm of your life, we basically have to start with the company that built the physical infrastructure of the modern digital world.
Apple.
Exactly, Apple. And we are looking at a monumental milestone for them right now, April 1st, 2026.
Their 50th anniversary.
Yes. Their golden jubilee.
It's a profound corporate milestone, really. I mean, 50 years since the original Apple I computer was hand-built in a garage.
It's crazy to think about.
And to mark the occasion, they've initiated this global marketing campaign that leans heavily into their historical ethos.
Yeah, did you see the Alicia Keys concert?
Yes, I did. The massive, spontaneous concert at the Grand Central Terminal Apple Store in New York.
It was a brilliant spectacle, just kicking off celebrations that are spanning Paris, London, Tokyo.
And Tim Cook's public statements have been very deliberate, right? He's resurrected the old think different mantra.
Trying to position Apple as the eternal champion of human creativity.
Exactly. But there's a critical lens we need to apply here.
Right, because when you look past the 17-time Grammy winner and the glowing PR, a very uncomfortable question pops up.
Is Apple actually thinking differently today?
Right. Or are they just staring down the barrel of a paradigm shift they didn't invent, realizing they're structurally behind, and scrambling to bolt an AI brain onto their hardware?
The evidence heavily supports the latter. I mean, Apple is a hardware company. They excel at vertical integration.
They design the silicon, write the OS, control the interface.
Yes, but agentic AI is not constrained by a single device's hardware. It requires massive cloud-based server clusters and just unimaginably large training data sets.
And Apple's internal AI efforts, like specifically the legacy architecture of Siri that was all built on rigid command-based programming, wasn't it?
Completely. If you said, set a timer for 10 minutes, Siri just identified the verb set, the noun timer, and the variable 10.
Just a basic decision tree.
Exactly. It wasn't capable of fluid reasoning. And transitioning from a decision tree to a neural network capable of generative action, well, that's proven to be a bottleneck they just couldn't clear quickly enough on their own.
Which perfectly explains this blockbuster partnership that leaked recently.
A Google alliance.
Yeah, this feels like Marvel and DC doing a crossover event because a new villain like OpenAI is taking over the box office.
That's a great analogy.
Apple is rolling out iOS 26.4 this spring, featuring a completely overhauled Siri.
But the intelligence driving this new assistant isn't entirely an Apple creation.
Not at all. They are licensing Google's Gemini models.
Which is wild. The source is mentioned in architecture internally called Apple Foundation Models version 10, and it runs on 1.2 trillion parameters.
And heavily supported by Google's backend. Right. Why would Apple outsource its brain to Google? It's like Apple is building the world's most luxurious car chassis, but admitting they don't know how to build a competitive engine, so they just drop a Google engine under the hood.
Well, the integration of a 1.2 trillion parameter model into the Apple ecosystem is just a massive technical undertaking.
Because of the processing power required.
Exactly. To understand why they needed Google, you really have to look at what a parameter is.
Okay, break that down for us.
In a neural network, a parameter is essentially a synaptic weight. It's a mathematical value that dictates how strongly one piece of data relates to another.
So it's how the AI makes connections.
Right. And to run a model with 1.2 trillion parameters requires an immense amount of VRAM, or video random access memory.
Which an iPhone definitely doesn't have.
You physically cannot run a model of that size locally on a phone. It has to offload that heavy cognitive processing to the cloud.
And Google has the cloud infrastructure.
They possess one of the most advanced networks of tensor processing units, TPUs, on the planet. Apple simply did not have the server-side infrastructure to support billions of iPhones, all simultaneously asking a trillion-parameter model to perform complex tasks.
Okay, that makes sense technically.
But
I want to push back a little on the idea that this is just a new romance born out of convenience.
it's definitely not a new romance.
Right. There is a massive financial and legal scaffolding here. This is a continuation of a heavily scrutinized marriage. I mean, for years, Google was paying Apple an exorbitant amount of money.
Roughly $38 billion between 2021 and 2022 alone.
Just to be the default search engine on Safari. That deal was the bedrock of their entire relationship.
You are hitting on the critical catalyst for this AI partnership right there. That $38 billion search agreement was effectively dismantled by the U.S. judicial system.
The antitrust ruling.
Yes, District Judge Amit Mehta issued a landmark ruling concluding that Google's payments to maintain default exclusivity constituted an illegal monopoly.
In the search market?
Exactly. His final remedies explicitly ban Google from entering into exclusive default agreements that extend beyond a single year.
Wow. So the traditional search engine business model where Google just bought access to Apple's users was legally crippled.
Yes.
So if the front door, the Safari search bar, is locked by a federal judge, they basically just built a new back door.
That's exactly what this is. By integrating Gemini into Siri, Google maintains its access to the Apple user ecosystem.
And Apple gets the cutting-edge AI engine it desperately needs.
Without technically violating the specific terms of the old search engine injunction, it's a strategic pivot to preserve their symbiotic relationship.
It's honestly a masterclass in corporate maneuvering.
It really is, but it also highlights how thoroughly the software is now dictating the hardware roadmap.
Oh, absolutely.
For decades, Apple's product release cycle was governed by supply chains and manufacturing. Today, their hardware releases are entirely hostage to AI software timelines.
Let's look at the smart home delays as the prime example of that.
The J490.
Yeah, the rumored smart home display, people are calling it the HomePad.
Right.
The specs describe a 7-inch display running a brand new OS called tvOS 27. It was targeted for 2025, then pushed to spring 2026, and now the Intel says it's delayed until at least fall 2026.
And the high-end version is delayed even further.
Right, the one with the robotic arm that physically swivels the screen to track your face.
Yeah.
That's pushed all the way to 2027.
And these delays have nothing to do with bending aluminum or sourcing glass.
Exactly. It's purely because they're waiting on this new chatbot-style Siri to be ready.
Which is fascinating analytically. If you release a smart home hub designed to be the central nervous system of a house, the interface cannot just be a touchscreen.
It has to be ambient voice control.
Exactly. If Apple launched the J490 with the legacy Siri, the one that still fails to understand conversational context, the product would be dead on arrival.
Especially that robotic arm version.
Wow, absolutely.
I mean, think about the mechanical complexity there. If it uses computer vision to track your face across a kitchen, it's calculating spatial coordinates, identifying you versus your spouse, predicting your movement. You can't run that on a rigid decision tree.
No, you need an intent-based AI that actually understands the physical context of the room. The AI has to be perfect before the hardware can even justify its existence.
The hardware is basically transitioning into just being a sensory apparatus for the AI.
That's a great way to put it.
Which brings us to the physical foundation Apple is laying down right now to actually support this ambient intelligence. Because while the smart home is delayed, Apple's wearable and tracking hardware is pushing forward.
Setting the physical stage.
Exactly. If an AI agent is going to proactively manage your life, it needs constant, high-fidelity data about your physical environment.
Needs to know where you are and where your things are.
Right. So let's start with how it maps your possessions, the AirTag 2.
Yes.
So the specs are out. Looking at the exterior, it's totally indistinguishable from the first generation.
Same design.
Same circular design, same one-year battery life, same price point. $29 for one, $99 for a 4-pack.
But the internal architecture is completely different.
Yeah, they upgraded the ultra-wideband chip.
Which is critical. Ultra-wideband, or UWB, is the protocol for spatial awareness. Unlike Bluetooth, which just estimates proximity based on signal strength, which is super unreliable, UWB operates using time-of-flight calculations.
Time of flight, meaning it measures how long the signal takes to bounce back.
Exactly. It sends a pulse of radio energy and measures the exact nanosecond it takes to return. That lets an iPhone calculate the position of an AirTag down to the centimeter.
And the new chip in the AirTag 2 gives it 1.5 times better precision finding range.
A significantly larger radius.
Plus the speaker is 50% louder, which sounds trivial until your keys are buried under 3 couch cushions.
Very true.
But the real story here isn't the tracking range. It's the anti-tracking architecture.
Right. They are introducing industry-first protections against unwanted tracking.
Which connects back to this broader theme, right? Tech companies constantly having to clean up the unintended real-world consequences of their products.
When Apple launched the original AirTag, they inadvertently created a mass-market, highly affordable tool for stalkers to track individuals without consent.
And it took 5 years to push a hardware update to fix it.
It's astounding. But the new cryptography is fascinating. How do you build a device designed to broadcast its location, but prevent someone from monitoring that broadcast over time?
Changing Bluetooth identifiers.
Exactly. Cryptographic identifier rotation. Every AirTag broadcasts a public payload. In the new iteration, that broadcast identifier changes frequently and randomly.
So a bad actor trying to sniff the Bluetooth traffic just loses the signal.
The device essentially changes its digital face.
And they also added cross-platform alerts, right?
Yes, collaborating with Google. So if an unknown AirTag is traveling with an Android user, the Android OS will recognize the beaconing pattern and alert them.
It's a massive structural change for physical safety.
It is.
But tracking your keys is just one sensory input. The AI also needs a direct, frictionless line into your ears, your auditory cortex.
The AirPods Max 2.
Yes. $549. Shipping early April. They finally adopted USB-C.
To comply with European mandates, of course.
Right. Same colors, midnight, starlight, orange, purple, blue. But the big deal is the H2 chip. They're finally bringing features pro users already have to the Max line.
1.5 times better active noise cancellation.
Adaptive audio.
And voice isolation.
I have a theory about voice isolation.
Let's hear it.
To me, this is the most important feature, because if you're interacting with an AI agent all day, it needs to hear your instructions perfectly.
Regardless of the environment.
Exactly. If I'm on a windy subway platform telling my agent to reroute my flight, I cannot afford a transcription error.
Your theory is entirely sound. Voice isolation bridges the gap between chaotic physical environments and the structured data requirements of the AI. It acts as an acoustic firewall.
Yes, an acoustic firewall, ensuring the AI gets a pristine audio feed.
And don't forget the Siri head gestures enabled by that H2 chip.
Oh, right, the micro movements.
It tracks the movements of your skull. So if your AI asks for confirmation to send an email, you don't even need to speak. You just nod your head yes or shake it no.
The headphones translate physical kinesiology into a binary command.
It removes the friction of the interface entirely.
That is true ambient computing. And while the hardware is adapting to receive these signals, the software is evolving to manage our lives.
iOS 26.4.
Yes. I have to geek out over this for a second because they finally solved a 10-year-old problem.
Family sharing.
Family sharing. For a decade, if you had a family group for iCloud or Apple Music, every single transaction by any adult routed through the primary organizer's credit card.
A complete logistical nightmare for domestic finances.
It was awful. But now, iOS 26.4 finally lets adult members use their own individual payment methods.
A vital quality of life update.
Huge. Also, the Apple Sports app update is dropping just in time for March Madness. Real-time brackets, massive soccer expansion, Campeonato Brasileiro Serie A, Liga Pro, full Latin America and Caribbean support.
Scaling up their data management capabilities.
Exactly. But looking ahead to June 8th through the 12th, WWDC 2026.
iOS 27.
iOS 27. And the rumors say it's laying the groundwork for the iPhone Fold.
Which is rumored to launch in December 2026.
Just a few months after the iPhone 18 Pro in September.
And the software architecture required for the Fold is where iOS 27 becomes vital.
Because of the dual app runtime?
Exactly. Running two full-scale iPhone applications side by side when unfolded, it forces the memory management to behave like an iPad.
Plus, the rumors of the ultra-thin iPhone Air 2 coming in March 2027.
The physical vessels are becoming more varied.
And here's the crux of it. While Apple is updating all this hardware to receive better AI, the AI models themselves are undergoing this massive evolution.
From chatbots to agents.
Exactly, the dawn of the agent era.
To fully grasp the magnitude of this shift, we have to clarify the mechanical difference between an LLM and a large action model, or LAM.
Right, break that down for us.
A traditional LLM processes text and outputs text. It exists in a closed loop.
Like a brilliant librarian who finds information for you.
Yes, but a large action model is trained to understand graphical user interfaces.
So it's like a personal assistant who actually takes your credit card, goes to the store, and buys the books for you.
Precisely. It can look at a web page, identify where the text boxes are, understand what a submit button looks like, calculate the coordinates, and instruct the OS to click it.
It maps digital space into actionable nodes.
It treats the internet exactly the way a human does.
And the framework to build these agents is exploding in open source right now, like OpenClaw.
OpenClaw is highly accessible. NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, called it the next ChatGPT.
Which is a massive statement.
And NVIDIA is adapting it into an enterprise solution called NumClaw. Huang had a vision for this. He said, every carpenter will become an architect.
Right, because if you can articulate the structural logic of a house to your AI agent, it will autonomously navigate the CAD software and produce the blueprints.
The human transitions from tool operator to strategic director.
And because it's open source, any developer can spin up an agent, which leads us to this crazy spy thriller story.
The Xiaomi surprise.
Yes. So there's this platform called OpenRouter.
An API aggregator platform.
Right. Developers use it to access different AI models. And recently, this mysterious model popped up under the name Hunter Alpha.
And it possessed a context window of 1 million tokens.
Which is staggering. A token is roughly 3/4 of a word. The context window is the AI's short-term memory.
1 million tokens means you could feed it several textbooks simultaneously, and it wouldn't lose the plot.
Exactly. And because it was so powerful, everyone thought it was a covert beta test for DeepSeek v4.
The highly anticipated Chinese model.
But the reveal drops, and it's not DeepSeek.
Yeah.
It's Xiaomi.
An early build of Maimo V2 Pro.
Built by Luo Fuli, a former DeepSeek engineer. I mean, people know Xiaomi for budget phones and electric scooters.
But this signals a violent shift. They're transforming into an AI software powerhouse, baking this agent directly into HyperOS 3.0.
To proactively manage devices. You just tell your phone, move lunch indoors, and the OS agent checks the weather, finds your friend's contact, and texts them.
Entirely in the background.
It's incredible. But then, briefly, what is the actual DeepSeek v4 going to be?
Brute force scale. Tens of trillions of parameters. Multimodal.
Tens of trillions.
Yes. And utilizing conditional memory.
Which is basically enhanced long-term memory, right? Instead of reading an encyclopedia every time you ask a question, it compresses core facts and writes them to a highly efficient storage module.
Conceptually, a human hippocampus.
Right. And it's built specifically for Chinese AI accelerators, bypassing NVIDIA.
The geopolitical ramifications are profound.
But while DeepSeek builds these massive models, OpenAI is doing the exact opposite.
They are actively shrinking their models.
Right. They just released GPT 5.4 Mini and Nano. Why release smaller models when everyone else is scaling up?
Because of the economic bottleneck of the agent era. Inference cost. Running a massive model for every trivial step of a workflow is financially ruinous.
So they use a massive model as the boss, directing hundreds of smaller, cheaper models, the Mini and Nano models, to execute subtasks.
like searching code bases. The industry term is mixture of experts combined with dynamic routing.
The boss and intern architecture.
Precisely. And they are aggressively building the tooling for this. They acquired a startup called Astral.
To boost Codex, right?
Yeah.
Which now has 2 million weekly users.
Open source developer tools to make it frictionless to build these API pipelines.
And OpenAI isn't stopping there. They're developing a new desktop super app.
A unified interface.
Combining a browser, ChatGPT, and Codex. Under Greg Brockman and Fidji Samo.
An ambient desktop agent observing your work.
Which is amazing, but it brings us to the elephant in the room. Running these massive agent networks costs billions. How are these companies going to pay for it?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the entire business model of the internet is being renegotiated right now.
By bringing ads into the AI.
The era of the ad-free chatbot is ending.
OpenAI has started testing ads in ChatGPT, US only, free and go tiers, over 18.
And Google is doing the same.
Yeah, Google's VP Nick Fox signaled that ads from AI mode search will likely migrate into Gemini.
But Google has a massive advantage.
They just crossed $400 billion in revenue. They can wait.
Whereas OpenAI is under immense pressure from investors to double their $30 billion revenue, they must extract immediate value.
And to make those ads valuable, the AI needs hyper-precise targeting.
It needs intimate knowledge of your life.
Which is where personal intelligence comes in. Google is rolling this out to free users in the US. The AI reads your Gmail, calendar, and photos to give personalized answers.
Using Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RA.
Right, like if your router breaks, you just ask Gemini. It scans your emails, finds the receipt, gets the model number, finds the manual, and tells you how to fix it.
A 10-minute ordeal collapsed into a 10-second interaction.
But the trade-off is total privacy erosion.
Unmitigated access to your digital history.
And Google is testing Search Live, too. Real-time camera AI search via Gemini 3.1 Flash.
In the US and India, though, the global rollout is delayed.
Plus, they're testing a dedicated Gemini app for Mac with desktop intelligence that literally reads your screen.
The ultimate boundary test for consumer privacy.
So for the listeners, you have to consider this privacy trade-off. Is the convenience worth the surveillance?
Fortunately, privacy alternatives are expanding.
Like DuckDuckGo. They integrated GPT 5.2 and 5 Mini into Duck.ai.
Operating on total anonymity.
Stripping IP addresses, no training on user data, completely anonymous.
And Perplexity Health is doing similar work.
Yeah, integrating with Apple Health to analyze lab results and wearables. Promising strict encryption and no training on medical data.
Those are robust promises from private companies. But there is a chilling counter-narrative to all these privacy promises.
The surveillance loophole.
Exactly. We worry about Google, but the FBI and the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, are buying the location data of U.S. citizens directly from commercial data brokers.
Completely bypassing the need for warrants.
Yes.
Senator Ron Wyden called this an outrageous end run around the Fourth Amendment.
And it becomes exponentially more dangerous when combined with AI.
Right, because an AI can comb through massive data sets of location pings and instantly de-anonymize the data by cross-referencing movement patterns.
Identifying human networks in seconds.
Terrifying. And this leads right into the moral dilemmas these companies face, which brings up the NSFW dilemma.
OpenAI's delayed launch of erotic chats.
Yeah. It's like they want to open a casino, but they realize their bouncers can't tell who is 21 and who is a teenager.
The core problem is age verification on a mass scale.
The stats are rough. Age verification fails 12% of the time.
And with 100 million minors on ChatGPT globally.
That is millions of teenagers seamlessly accessing 18-plus generative content.
The expert committee's warnings were brutal.
Highlighting AI addiction, where users withdraw from human relationships for idealized AI companions.
And severe, statistically measurable teen suicide risks.
The psychological impact is staggering.
It is. But while we worry about AI in our browsers and chats, AI is already aggressively altering the physical world.
The post-labor economy.
Let's start there. Elon Musk recently predicted that all jobs will become optional.
Forecasting the economy will be 10 times larger in 10 years. With Tesla Optimus robots entering mass production in 2027.
But we have to contrast that with Andrej Karpathy's recent study.
Right. The former Tesla and OpenAI researcher, he analyzed 342 professions.
And the results invert everything we thought we knew.
Medical transcriptionists are at a 10 out of 10 risk of automation.
Because LLMs handle language perfectly.
But physical jobs, like roofers, are at a 0 or 1 out of 10 risk.
It's more of X paradox. High-level reasoning is computationally cheap. But low-level sensor motor skills like balancing on a roof are incredibly complex.
So the impact is highly asymmetrical. But robots are taking some jobs, like guarding the data centers running this whole economy.
Robot dogs.
Yeah. Data centers like Nova in Utah are buying Boston Dynamics Spot and Ghost Robotics Vision 60 dogs
Costing between $165,000 and $300,000 each.
to monitor thermal leaks and patrol perimeters.
Because a human guard can't see a thermal cascade in a server rack.
And the ROI is achieved in just 18 months compared to paying human guards. It's brutal economics.
Brutal, but efficient. But AI in the physical world goes deeper than robotics. It's altering material science.
The University of New Hampshire breakthrough.
Yes. An AI analyzed 67,573 magnetic compounds,
And discovered 25 completely new, sustainable magnets that don't rely on rare earth metals.
which could revolutionize electric vehicle manufacturing.
And completely shift global geopolitics away from rare earth dependency on China.
A stunning example of AI building the physical world.
But every physical breakthrough gets weaponized. Look at AI in defense. Drone swarms.
The mathematics of air defense.
Chinese military engineers, led by Zhu Jin, developed an AI-powered inverse synthetic aperture radar, ISAR.
Traditional radar just sees hundreds of identical blips when a swarm approaches.
But this AI radar instantly analyzes the microdoppler signatures, the vibrations of the rotors, to distinguish heavy, real attack drones from cheap, empty decoys.
Instantly highlighting the lethal targets. AI is fundamentally changing the math of modern warfare.
It really is.
But we need a reality check.
Bring us back down to earth.
This raises an important question. We have to look at a vital study from Washington State University.
Right. Researchers gave ChatGPT 719 scientific statements to evaluate.
And the result, GPT-5 Mini is 80% accurate.
Which sounds okay.
But it is horribly inconsistent. If asked the exact same question 10 times, it gives completely contradictory answers 27% of the time.
Over a quarter of the time.
And it only caught explicitly false statements 16.4% of the time.
Because it's just predicting the next word based on probability. It prioritizes linguistic fluidity over factual rigidity.
Exactly. We are handing over our coding, our medical data, and our military defense to systems that are ultimately, as the researchers put it, statistical parrots.
Statistical parrots.
They do not actually understand the physical world.
Wow. Okay, so we have covered an immense amount of ground today. From Apple's 50th anniversary AI scramble and invisible OS agents to data center robot dogs, magnetic alloys, and the limits of statistical parrots.
It's a massive paradigm shift.
It is. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? While the tech giants are locked in this arms race to decide exactly how to monetize your data and your attention, you still have agency.
You do.
You have to choose how much you let these autonomous agents into your life. Is the convenience worth the transparency?
And I want to leave the listener with a final thought to ponder.
Go for it.
If AI agents soon reach a point where they are negotiating with other AI agents on our behalf, imagine your personal AI haggling with an airline's AI to book a flight. Where does human preference end and algorithmic optimization begin? When you let an agent live your digital life, whose life is it really?
That is a brilliant question to end on. Thank you for joining us for the second AI Core Deep Dive. We hope we've given you the tools to look past the marketing, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep. We will catch you next time.
Thank you for watching. For more professional AI insights, remember to like this video and subscribe to AI Corecast.